It wasn't what happened. It was what didn't. Nothing obvious. Nothing you could clearly point to and say, "That's it." And that's what made it harder to understand. Because from the outside, things looked fine. Stable. Functional. Normal. But something was missing. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. Consistently. You might recognize this. Conversations that stayed on the surface. Questions that never went deeper than, "How was your day?" And even when something mattered, there wasn't really space for it. Not intentionally. No one said, "Don't feel that." But it just wasn't held. So you learned. Not through words. Through experience. What to share. What to keep to yourself. What felt safe. And what didn't. There's someone. Let's call her Amina. From the outside. Amina's life made sense. There was structure. There was provision. There were expectations. Things were handled. Responsibilities were met. But emotionally, something felt distant. Not cold. Not harsh. Just out of reach. She didn't feel ignored exactly. But she didn't feel fully seen either. And that difference matters. Because when something isn't fully there, you don't reject it. You adjust to it. This is usually where the shift begins. You stop expecting certain things. Not because you don't want them, but because they don't seem available. You become more contained, more self-reliant. You learn how to sit with things on your own. And from the outside, that looks like strength. Most people would describe you as independent, grounded, low maintenance. But internally, something else is happening. Because when there isn't space for your emotions, you don't stop feeling. You just stop expressing. And over time, you can lose connection to what you feel. Not completely, just enough that it becomes harder to access. You might notice it now, in small moments. Someone asks you how you are, and you pause. Not because you don't want to answer, but because you don't fully know. Or you say, "I'm fine," automatically. Even when something feels slightly off. You might recognize this too. Being with someone and wanting to open up, but not quite knowing how. Or feeling something strongly, but not having the words for it. Or even noticing a quiet emptiness. Not overwhelming. Not dramatic. Just there. Most people don't realize this. What feels like emptiness is often distance. Distance from parts of you that didn't have space before. Parts of you that learned to stay quiet. Parts of you that learned not to expect to be met. If this feels familiar, you are not alone. And this is important to understand clearly. You didn't learn to disconnect because something is wrong with you. You learned it because it worked. It helped you function. It helped you stay steady. It helped you navigate an environment where emotional space was limited. That is not weakness. That is adaptation. But here's where things begin to change. You are no longer in the same place. And what once protected you may now feel like distance. This is the in-between phase. Not who you were then. Not yet fully who you're becoming. You're starting to notice things. Starting to feel where something is missing. Starting to want something deeper. Even if you don't fully know how to reach it yet. Take a slow breath for a moment. In gently. And out slowly. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to suddenly become more expressive. You don't need to unlock everything all at once. You can begin somewhere quieter. Noticing what you feel, even if it's unclear. Letting something stay a little longer than you usually would. Naming something small. This feels uncomfortable. This matters to me. Even that is a shift. Because healing from absence is not about fixing something broken. It's about creating space where there wasn't space before. Gently, gradually, in ways that feel safe. You are not empty. You were just never given the room to fully feel. And those parts of you are still there. Not gone. Not broken. Just waiting. And slowly, you are learning how to meet them again.